The signing table stood empty on the human side, and 40 royal daughters watched the door he had not yet walked through. Coordinator Selm of the Braided Assembly checked the seating ledger for the third time. Every chair was accounted for. Every alliance daughter had been presented, ranked, and lit by her house colors. The Varesi heir sat highest, her scale crest polished to a mirror. The Downhall princess wore treaty silk worth a moon. Each of them represented a fleet, a shipyard, a voting bloc the human colonies desperately needed. The arrangement had been simple. The human envoy would choose one. That house would gain a human alliance, and the rest of the assembly would fall in line behind the match. Because that was how the Braided Assembly had bound outsiders for 9 generations. Marriage was not romance here. It was the acquisition of a fleet. The human's name was Deran Holloway, and he was late. When he entered, he did not go to the high seats. He walked the long way, past the ranked daughters, past the mirror crest and the treaty silk, and he stopped at the last chair in the last row. The one nobody had bothered to light. The girl in it was called Ithaen. Her house held 3 orbital repair docks and no warships. Her scales were dull gray, unpolished, because polishing them was a courtesy paid to daughters who might be chosen, and no one had expected her to be. When the human sat down across from her, a low sound moved through the hall. It was not laughter, exactly. It was the noise a room makes when it decides someone has made a mistake. "You are seated wrong," Selm said quietly, arriving at his shoulder. "The presented houses are forward. This one is administrative. She was included for the count. I read the roster on the way in," Deran said. "She was on it. That makes her presented. She commands nothing. 3 repair docks. No hulls, no yards of construction, no votes that matter." Selm lowered his voice further. "The other houses will withdraw their goodwill if you shame the arrangement. You need those fleets." "I know what I need," Deran said. "Give me the afternoon." The Varesi heir was already rising. When a human declined the first houses, the insult belonged to all of them. And an insult to the Braided Assembly was answered the old way, with a withdrawal of protection. By the time Deran had spoken 20 words to Ithaen, 3 of the highest houses had sent runners to their ships. Ithaen herself had not moved. She watched him the way you watch a rockfall you cannot outrun, waiting to learn how much of you it takes. "You should choose the Varesi," she said. "I have nothing you came for." "You have 3 docks," Deran said. "Repair docks. We fix what other houses break. We do not build, we do not fight, we do not vote. My father took the seat because someone has to keep the yards running, and no house with warships wants the job." Her crest flattened. "Everyone here understands this. You are the only one pretending not to." "I'm not pretending." He leaned forward. "How many hulls have passed through your docks in the last year?" She hesitated. "I would have to count." "Estimate. Every damaged ship in this sector comes to us eventually. The warhouses do not repair their own. It is beneath them. So they send the wrecks to us and take the rebuilt hulls back and never think about the yard again." She said it flatly, a fact she had stopped resenting. "Some seasons, more ships pass through my docks than any warhouse owns." Deran was very still for a moment. Not the stillness of a man who had run out of things to say. The stillness of a man who had just found the thing he came for. "Every damaged ship in the sector," he repeated. "You have the interior schematics of every warship the warhouses fly." "We have repair logs," Ithaen corrected. "Diagrams for the work. Nothing secret." "Anyone could, nobody does," Deran said. "Because it's beneath them." Selm returned, and this time he was not quiet. "The Varesi have recalled their escort. The downhaul will follow within the hour. You have collapsed the arrangement. Human, whatever game you are playing, the fleets you needed are leaving orbit." "Let them leave," Deran said. The hall heard it. The remaining houses stiffened. A human had just told the Braided Assembly that its warships did not matter, and everyone waited for him to be proven a fool. He turned back to Ithaen. The colonies didn't send me to buy a fleet. They can't afford one, and a borrowed fleet leaves the moment the fighting gets expensive. I was told to come here and secure a warhouse through marriage because that's what everyone has always done. He paused. That's exactly why it's a trap. The assembly binds outsiders to the loudest house, and the loudest house spends the outsider's blood first. I read 9 generations of your marriage records on the transit in. Every human adjacent power that married a warhouse was fighting that house's enemies within 2 years and bankrupt within 4. Then why come at all? Because I also read the repair logs. They're public. Nobody reads them. He spread his hands. Your 3 docks touch every warship in this sector. You know which houses fly with cracked keels they never reported. You know whose reactor shielding is patched instead of replaced. You know which flagship came in last month with battle damage the house swears never happened. He watched her face change. You do know. I can see it. Ithaen's crest lifted, slowly. For the first time. The heir, she said quietly. Her house lost 2 cruisers 3 months ago. They told the assembly it was an accident in dock. It was not an accident. Another house did it, and both of them agreed to call it an accident because neither could afford to admit weakness before the marriage season. Her voice steadied. I have the hull scans. I have both sets of damage. I have known for 3 months, and no one has ever asked me a single question, because I am the girl in the last chair. The hall had gone quiet in a different way now. Selm was staring at her, so were the remaining houses, because every one of them had, at some point, sent a wounded ship to those docks and paid a girl they never named to keep the secret. That's my fleet, Deran said. Not warships. Leverage. Every house in this assembly has something in your logs they'd rather the others didn't know. And they handed it to the one person they were all too proud to marry. They will kill me, Ithaen said. But she did not sound afraid now. She sounded like someone doing arithmetic. The moment they understand what I hold. They can't. The logs go everywhere the moment anything happens to you or your docks. You're not weak. You've been the safest person in this room for 3 years, and none of you noticed. He stood. Marry me, and the colonies don't buy a fleet. We buy every fleet's silence, all at once, and we spend it to keep the warhouses from spending us. The heir came back through the doors then. She had heard. Her escort had reached her ship, and her ship had opened its logs and found that someone, somewhere, could prove the accident was not an accident. She crossed the whole length of the hall, past the lit chairs, to the dark one at the back, and for the first time in 9 generations, a warhouse stood before the repair docks and waited to be acknowledged. You will not release the scans, she said. It was not a question. It was a house, learning it had a master. That depends, Ithaen said, on how the vote goes. Selm looked at the ledger in his hands, the careful ranking of houses by the weight of their guns, and understood it had been meaningless the whole time. The power in the room had never been in the front row. It had been sitting in the dark, keeping other people's secrets, waiting for one person to read the logs nobody read. Deran signed the treaty at the last table in the last row. Ithaen signed beside him. The docks were named a house of the first rank that afternoon, and the war fleets that had left orbit came back one by one through the night, not to threaten, but to negotiate the price of their own quiet. The heir was the last to sign her deference. When she finished, she looked at the girl she had spent 3 years mocking and found she could not hold the gaze. Ithaen let her go without a word. Then she reached up and slowly began to polish the crest no one had ever thought worth lighting. While across the table, the human who had walked past 40 fleets to reach her watched the room learn what it had thrown away.